A young Nigerian soldier has been widely praised on social media after footage of him standing his ground against a powerful government minister went viral. The soldier, identified as Lieutenant AM Yerima, was part of a unit that prevented Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike from accessing a disputed plot of land in Abuja on Tuesday. In the video, which has been viewed millions of times, the minister is seen becoming increasingly agitated as Lieutenant Yerima, citing orders from his superiors, calmly refused his entry. Many social media users have hailed the soldier's demeanor, describing him as courageous and brave, with some using his photo on their WhatsApp statuses. But wait, who was right and who was wrong? Was the soldier right in preventing the minister of the FCT, who oversees the entire area, or was he wrong in preventing him? Who was right, as the minister used abusive language on the young soldier? If you are just wondering, then stick with me to the end of this video as I break this down. If it's your first time on the channel, consider clicking the red subscribe button and turning on the notification icon so you don't miss out on future videos from my YouTube channel. Don't forget to share the video with your friends on your WhatsApp and Facebook so that they can learn more about who was right and wrong in this situation. Alright, the confrontation which ensued was particularly striking to many Nigerians because Wike, a former governor of the oil-rich Rivers State, is considered one of the most influential figures in President Bola Tinubu's administration. He has a fearsome reputation and is seen as someone who normally gets his way in a country where lower-ranking officials rarely stand up to those in authority. In an ex-post, someone said, "I commend the gallantry of this military officer, Lieutenant AM Yerima, for his unshakable boldness and composure despite the offensive utterances from the FCC minister, Wike. He is well-trained and fearless. He has refused to be bullied. Discipline, courage, and integrity, the true spirits of the Nigerian army." The young officer, AM Yerima, stood his ground with professionalism and honor, agreed another ex-user. In the video, Wike is heard saying to the soldier, "You are a very big fool. At the time I graduated, you are still in primary school." And while Wike was still speaking, the officer cuts in to say, "I am not a fool, sir." However, it is not clear why the soldiers were there. They had asked the Nigerian military for a comment, but Wike challenged the soldiers to provide proof of their legal right to occupy the land. Wike later told journalists he had visited the site after officials from the Abuja Metropolitan Management Council reported being chased away by soldiers. He said the land fell under the Federal Capital jurisdiction, which he oversees, and that his administration had a duty to investigate reports of illegal construction and land encroachment. "This is what prevents us from progressing," Wike said. When the officials came, they said soldiers chased them away. He said, "I thought they did so illegally." He said the soldiers were unable to produce the document he requested, which was why he tried to use force on the officer. So who did right or wrong? The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, said the ministry they investigate the confrontation between the minister of the Federal Capital Territory and one naval officer, AM Yerima, over the disputed piece of land at Abuja. During a press briefing on Wednesday, 12th of November, to commence activities for the 2026 Armed Forces Remembrance Day for the National Armed Forces, for the National Defense College, Abuja, the Chief Baduru said his armed forces will not abandon any personnel that carry out lawful duties. He gave this information after an exchange between the Federal Capital Minister and a naval military officer, Yerima, on the 11th of November, which is still a strong talking point in Nigeria. Mr. Badaru said, "Well, For the ministry and indeed the armed forces, we will always protect our officers on lawful duty. We will look into this issue and we assure everyone that any officer on lawful duty will be highly protected and we will not allow anything to happen to them as long as they do their job and they do the job very well. On Tuesday, a video that went viral on social media shows as the FCC minister and a young naval officer exchanged words over the piece of land that belonged to a former chief of naval staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo. The property, which was located on plot 1946, became the subject of argument after Wike visited the said properties with officials and questioned if the ex-naval chief has the right to develop there. He insisted the military had no approval or valid documentation from the Federal Capital Territory to develop the land. However, the military officer insisted that he acted on orders and the land had valid papers. As the issue turned a hot debate and some social media analysts analyzed the matter on the line of legality and power tussle between the civilian authority and the military, constitutional lawyers explain the position of the constitution for incidents like this. Barrister Emmanuel Omorem told BBC News that the matter is fluid and has two-way sides before the law. He explained that under the law, the two parties get their own fault, as he cited two Supreme Court rulings to back up his position on that. He said in the rulings, a justice said that the obligation to obey the orders of a superior no include orders where they palpably illegal or manifestly unjust. Every military or police officer swears an oath upon commission. The oath, which is to obey all orders, is to preserve and protect and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Oga Omorem explains say within the ruling means say the officer is assumed to know that he is not supposed to obey illegal, unjust orders. And on the other side, he cited the Supreme Court ruling for the case which involved the governor of Lagos State versus Ojukwu. He said that what the FCT minister do na self-help wey dey against the law. He explained the Supreme Court frowned against government officials using self-help to carry out government duties. And if someone goes to a property that doesn't belong to him and the minister wants to enforce order, the minister has no right to go there himself, as that is self-help and the law forbids self-help. So the people who are currently viewing, what's your thoughts and opinion on this matter? Kindly click the red subscribe button and turn on the notification icon so you don't miss out on future videos from this channel, and I'll see you in my very next one.